Hello and welcome to the NovelListen English channel.
We are diving deep today into, well, one of those foundational stories of Western literature.
And certainly the most famous study of radical self-reliance, the life of Robinson Crusoe. Our mission is to analyze the source material detailing his 28-year exile and really extract the key psychological, economic, and sheer survival lessons you can only learn when you lose absolutely everything.
It's an incredible body of work for a deep dive because Crusoe's entire arc is built on learning life's lessons the hardest way possible.
Right.
And what's fascinating is how the narrative positions his initial mistake. It's not a thirst for gold, but this fatal, almost spiritual defiance of the safe path laid out for him.
Okay, let's unpack that central tension right away. We start in York, England, 1632. Crusoe is the third son of a wealthy, respectable, retired merchant.
And his father gives him what he thinks is the ultimate blueprint for a happy life. He calls it the middle station of life.
The middle station. What did he mean by that exactly?
Well, this concept is incredibly important for understanding the 17th century worldview. The father argues that the middle class is blessed. They have health, peace, quiet happiness.
Because they avoid the big problems.
Exactly. They avoid the dangerous strife of the wealthy, and they avoid the grinding suffering of the poor. It's this powerful appeal to stable contentment.
It makes perfect sense, especially coming from a man who's already retired from the risks of trade. He warns his son that seeking greater heights is just setting yourself up for disaster.
But Crusoe, despite being deeply affected by his father's tearful words, he just cannot shake what the source material calls an unexplainable impulse.
It's like fate is calling him, overriding all reason.
And that's the core psychological conflict, isn't it? The resistance to stability. The moment he chooses impulse over safety, the clock starts ticking.
The disaster cycle begins on a very specific date. September 1st, 1651. He leaves Hull, she's 19, and he goes without a blessing or a prayer.
And that very first voyage immediately throws him into a violent storm near Yarmouth.
He's terrified. Utterly terrified, and he does what many of us would do. He promises God that if he survives, he's going straight back home.
But here's where his profound flaw surfaces. The storm passes, the danger is gone, and instead of keeping that intense vow, shame takes over.
Oh, right. His sailing companions.
They mock his fear, and his pride, his fear of facing his family as a failure, drives him to London instead. He kicks off this chain of disasters simply because he couldn't face social judgment.
That's a key insight for you, the listener. His initial undoing isn't ambition. It's a failure to learn from experience. He was more afraid of what people thought than of the actual sea.
Exactly. And that brief success he has later, learning the guinea trade, making a bit of money, that's just a temporary lull. He hasn't solved the core problem.
And the pattern just repeats with brutal efficiency. The sources detail the second major setback. He's captured by Turkish pirates near the Canary Islands.
He's taken to Selly on the coast of Morocco and becomes a private slave for 2 years. This is the school of hard knocks, but it's where we see that grit really beginning to form.
This is where he's finally forced into true self-reliance.
We see that incredible moment of cunning escape, using the fishing boat with the boy Shuri, and, well, having to dispatch the adult Moor to ensure their freedom.
And that journey down the African coast is just pure adventure. He shoots a massive lion.
Whose skin, the sources confirm, he later uses as his bed.
Wait, he used the lion's skin as a bed. That's incredible resourcefulness.
It's both practical and symbolic. He transforms a wild predator into a utilitarian object. It's an act of mastery.
That resourcefulness leads to his rescue by the Portuguese and his arrival in Brazil.
And in Brazil, we get the ultimate irony.
He sets up a productive sugarcane plantation. He becomes wealthy. He is finally living that middle station of life his father dreamed of. He's safe, prosperous.
He is. But here's the fatal repetition. Contentment doesn't stick. Boredom sets in. Greed calls. He accepts a secret, high-risk offer to captain a slaving voyage to Guinea for a huge, quick profit.
And the date of this catastrophic decision?
September 1, 1659.
The 8th anniversary of his initial flight from home. The cycle is complete.
That symmetry is the source material shouting at you. He sails right into a final, violent hurricane. The ship is lost, and out of 11 people on the lifeboat, Crusoe is the only survivor, washed up, alone.
He makes it to shore, physically and psychologically broken, but he spends 2 feverish weeks ferrying every useful thing he can from the wreck.
And it's during this salvage operation that he finds the gold and silver coins.
And this is where the abstract value of wealth just evaporates.
Instantly. He looks at the coins and has this incredible realization. He says essentially, "You worthless metal, right now you are worth less to me than a stone off the ground. A bag of flour or a box of nails is worth more than all of you."
That is a massive shift. For you, the learner, that's the first essential economic lesson of survival. In a true crisis, value is determined solely by utility.
It shifts his focus from accumulating gold to accumulating tools and materials. And that begins part 3 of his life, and he turns the island into his own laboratory.
His first priority is security. He finds the perfect defensive spot. A steep hill, a flat front, a rock wall behind it.
And he's focused on making it an impregnable castle. He creates that famous double-walled palisade of sharpened stakes. And what's fascinating is he uses a ladder instead of a door.
Because a ladder can be pulled up.
A door can be breached. It shows he's learned to think in terms of absolute isolation.
And his mental control is just as impressive. He starts his calendar poll, marking the days, starting September 30th, 1659. He knows that losing track of time means losing track of himself.
His survival is a story of ingenuity tempered by incredible patience. Take the farming. He empties an old bag of what he thinks is useless birdseed.
And months later, barley and rice sprout. A miracle.
He sees it as one, but instead of eating the handful he gets, he patiently cultivates it over years until he has enough for bread.
And the trial and error is just painful but essential. His first pottery attempts fail spectacularly.
They melt in the fire. But he keeps trying until he learns to fire harden them enough to hold water and cook. It's just relentless problem solving.
But the real deep transformation isn't physical, is it? It's spiritual.
In his second year, he suffers a severe illness, a high fever, horrific nightmares. He's facing death again, but this time he chooses surrender over defiance.
He opens the Bible he salvaged and reads the passage, "Call on me in the day of trouble, I will deliver thee."
And this is his spiritual awakening. He transforms from this rebellious man into one who accepts his fate, shows genuine repentance, and finds deep gratitude for his solitary survival. The island stops being a prison.
It becomes a refuge. And yet, he still needs connection.
Oh, absolutely. The crushing loneliness he creates, his family, the dog, the cats, and most touchingly, the parrot, Paul, who he teaches to speak his name.
Can you imagine, after years of total silence, hearing a parrot squawk, "Robin, poor Robinson Crusoe, where are you?" It must have been.
Simultaneously terrifying and therapeutic, a reminder of his isolation and a connection to his old life.
We also see his limits, though. We have to talk about the failed grand project.
Oh, the canoe. He spends an incredible amount of time cutting down a massive tree, hollowing it out, aiming for this grand escape.
But he finishes the job only to realize it's too heavy and too far from the water to ever launch.
A powerful lesson in planning. All that effort wasted because he failed to gauge his own limitations.
So fast forward about 15 years. Crusoe is the established king of the island. His security is absolute. And then his world shatters.
In a single terrifying moment, the discovery of that single naked human footprint on the sand.
The source material captures the psychological shock. He instantly goes from being the confident ruler to a terrified, hunted rabbit.
He's paralyzed for 3 days, hiding in his cave. His fear is confirmed when he measures the print. It's much larger than his own. He understands instantly. Candles. And his fear is justified. He later finds the gruesome evidence, a dining hall on the west side of the island, strewn with human bones.
So his entire security structure is now meaningless against a human threat.
So he switches to hyper-secrecy. He builds a second concealed wall with 20,000 growing willow branches. He stops hunting, uses only smokeless wood. He basically lives like a ghost.
But here is where his spiritual growth really pays off. His first instinct is pure rage. He plots to ambush and destroy them.
But he holds back. He questions his own authority. He asks himself, why should I judge and kill them when even God has not chosen to punish them?
That's a huge psychological shift. He resolves to only act in self-defense. He's finally matured beyond that blind rage that plagued his early years.
After 23 years, the waiting game is over. He sees smoke just 2 kilometers from his castle, and he makes a decisive plan. He must rescue a victim for companionship and for moral reasons.
The opportunity comes when he sees one prisoner escape from a group of 30 cannibals. The chase is on, heading right toward him.
Crusoe intervenes. He uses his rifle butt on the first pursuer, only shooting the second when he's threatened with an arrow.
And the rescued man's first act. It's profound.
It is. He places Crusoe's foot on his own head, signifying, "My life is in your hands, I am your servant." An act of absolute gratitude and submission.
Crusoe names him Friday, teaches him master, and firmly rejects the idea of eating the dead cannibals, reinforcing his own civilized code.
And Friday quickly proves his intellectual depth is absolute. He asks Crusoe this penetrating theological question. If God is strongest, why doesn't he destroy the devil?
Which forces Crusoe to wrestle with concepts he was too busy surviving to really consider before.
And practically, Friday is essential. Using his native technique hollowing wood with fire, they build a new seaworthy canoe. This collaboration succeeds where Crusoe's massive solo project failed.
Their plan to sail away is nearly complete when the final unexpected sign arrives. An English ship, off the trade routes, after 27 years.
Robinson is immediately skeptical. A legitimate trading vessel wouldn't be here.
And his caution is warranted. A lifeboat arrives with 11 men, 3 of them bound, a captain, a second mate, and a passenger. A mutiny.
Crusoe sees his chance. He offers the captain help under 2 strict conditions: absolute obedience on the island, and free passage for him and Friday back to England.
The takedown is brilliant psychological warfare. Crusoe uses his wild appearance, lying that he is the governor, backed by a large army hidden in the woods.
And Friday's tactics are brilliant. He distracts the second wave of mutineers, leads them on a wild goose chase, and allows Crusoe to pick them off. They surrender to a fictional army.
The ship is retaken, and on December 19th, 1686, after 28 years, 2 months, and 19 days, Robinson Crusoe departs.
He leaves his entire civilization, his castle, his goats, his fields, to the mutineers who chose exile over execution.
And the souvenirs he takes?
Just his goatskin hat, his umbrella, and his parrot, Paul. He leaves his wild identity behind, but only physically.
His return to England is jarring. He feels like a stranger. His parents are dead. But here's the magnificent twist of irony.
He discovers he is one of the richest men in England. His honest partner in Brazil faithfully managed the plantation income for years, assuming Crusoe was simply lost.
He chased wealth violently, lost everything, found peace by ignoring it, and then received immense fortune passively because he was presumed dead.
It's the ultimate punchline of this story.
The final lesson, though, isn't about wealth. Crusoe settles down, marries, has children. For a while, he lives that safe middle way his father preached.
But the sea, the sources say, continued to circulate like a poison in his veins.
He couldn't integrate. The self-reliance he forged in solitude made him restless in civilization. After his wife dies, he goes back to sea. He even visits his island and finds a thriving little colony.
He was only able to appreciate the security of civilization once he had built one completely from scratch.
What this deep dive truly reveals is that for some people, rejecting the middle path isn't a flaw, but a necessity for self-discovery. True security comes not from wealth or status, but from your own hands and spirit.
A profound thought to leave you with. Having seen the extremes of human effort and solitude, which part of Crusoe's life, the relentlessly self-reliant king of the island, or the restless man who couldn't stay home, do you recognize in yourself?
Subscribe and follow us to stay updated on our content. Goodbye.